So, Tony, thank you so much for joining today. I've been wanting to talk to you since I took your course, and it was really interesting. I have a lot of questions for you. So, keeping the time in mind, I want to keep it really quick. And so, tell us, Tony, you are a level three in five methods, and you have your own consulting company, TB3. Tell us briefly what do you do from TB3 and how did you come up with TB3?
Yes, absolutely. So, TB3 NDT Consulting LLC is my company, and I am certified in five methods for ASNT. So, from ASNT, the liquid penetrant magnetic particle, eddy current, radiography, ultrasonics, and yes, I did say liquid penetrant magnetic particle, eddy current, ultrasonics, radiography. But for NAS 410, I also have the Nidal Etch certification, which is specific to aerospace for what I do. And how did I come up with the name? Well, when I first started TB3, I was also a consultant for Hellier NDT, and I also was teaching classes for ASNT. So when I'm teaching for Hellier, I'm wearing their hat, or ASNT, their hat as shirt. So to make sure that I kept my receipts in order for my Toni Bailey receipts, at the time I was just a DBA, not an LLC, I would write TB3 on the receipts. And when came time for me to come up with a name, I asked some of my customers, well, what do you think? And from a poll of my customers and my husband, we came up with TB3, which stands for Toni Bailey Level 3 Consulting.
Okay.
And one more thing, the other reason why I wrote that down is because whenever someone, no matter who I'm working for, whenever they say they need a service, which is NDT training, level NDT examiner, NDT auditing services, any of these services, they would say, call Toni. They wouldn't say call this company or that company. They'd just say call Toni. So I said, well, why not TB3?
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Tony, tell us, do level threes really make more money as compared to level twos, or are there some cases where level twos can make more money given all the overtime and some of the advanced methods that are coming up? Is it really worth the additional responsibility that a level three has? Is it worth getting into that?
Well, absolutely. I want to say three things about that. Well, the first thing, money is an issue that we all have to consider. But in NDT, even if you're working for yourself, we don't want money to be our focus. We never want to say I'm doing it because, or I'm going to level three because I want to make more money. And that's one thing I'm trying to coach young adults to realize. We're doing it because we want to give back to the industry. However, here's the reality. I want to say three things about that. In the level threes are normally on salary, and those salaries depend on the industry you're working in. For aerospace, the range is from 80,000, for instance, if you're certified in two or three methods, up to $130,000 a year. But that's if you're certified in multiple methods and if you're working for a large company. Now that's for aerospace. For non-aerospace level threes, the salaries can go up to $160,000 to $200,000. But I would say $200,000 is the cap. Now for level twos, well, normally aerospace around 60 to 80. Non-aerospace can go beyond, as you know, depend on what you do. If you're doing an advanced method like ultrasonics or radiography. So, but with overtime, a level two can make more money than a level three. And that has been the issue because most level threes are on salary, not hourly rate.
I see. Wow.
So therefore, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go
So
ahead, please.
if a person wants to go on the level three journey, they really have to be on a mission to give back to the industry. You have to be a type of person that wants to bridge the gap between, quality assurance and NDT. That has to be like a personal mission, knowing that money may not come.
I see. That's a very important point because sometimes a level two feels like they've capped their work earning potential, and then the next step is by default to get to level three. Whereas there could be some other ways of like getting into advanced methods at level two position if that is your current objective right now, right? I understand that money shouldn't be the only thing that you pursue as your primary objective, but at times a lot of people want to get their money first in place and then think about giving back and like I want to pay my bills first. I want to get to the millionaires. That do you believe there's fairly a lot of millionaires in NDT industry?
I do not. The only way you can become a millionaire if you start an inspection company, you have a lot of inspectors working for you.
Gotcha.
I did that, for the first, for 12 years. I started an inspection company, and the best, even with our best effort, with our maybe 6 to 8 of us working, the best we could do was about $1 million, maybe 1.2.
I see. There's a lot of liability when you're a service company, and you have to get into all that lawyer mess. But
Oh
anyway,
yeah, you got to know business. There you go.
yeah. Okay, so my next question is I recently went through your training school's course on procedure writing. And one of the statements that you mentioned that resonated with me was just because you pass an ASNT level 3, any level 3 exam does not make you a responsible level 3. So let's say I just appeared for a level 3 UT and um, I want to get hired and start working as a responsible level 3. Is there any more testing at the company level that I have to go through, or is that it? And like level 1 and level 2s have OJT hours, on the job training hours, that coach them and train them, give them time to get coached for their position. Is there something like that for level 3s, or we're on our own and kind of just figure out as we go?
Oh boy, there you go. So that's kind of a two-part question. So the first part was just because you pass a level 3 exam, it doesn't mean you become the responsible level 3. And that is true. Some people try to go for their level 3s because you want to show your boss that you're proactive, and they may pay for those themselves. But then let's say you show your company, I just passed my UT3. Can this be useful for you? And they may say no, because if they already have a responsible level 3 in place, they won't automatically incorporate you as a part of the level 3 group. They might not even add you to be just a company level 3. The only way that happens is if that level 3, responsible 3, retires, or if some reason steps down for whatever reason. Now, you can become a company level 3 working under him, but you will be a hands-on subject matter expert, making technique sheets and work instructions and training level 2s. I mean, you may even become an instructor for the company. But what does a responsible level 3 do? He's responsible for the quality assurance of the company, the written practice and record keeping. It's almost like it's like a quality manager job, if you would, similar to. And some people that make level 3 find out they're not even cut out for that. That's not their mission, if you would. So, okay, the second part is about when you pass your level 3 exams, is there additional testing? And yes, there is. And if you don't mind, I'd like to share my screen just quickly and
Sure.
just show, and hopefully it'll show up for our viewers here.
Okay.
I'm going to share just a slide and just one here. Let me just put it in the presenter's mode.
Oh, perfect.
So this is very important. So for NAS 410, you can be an in-house level 3, which is an employer-based program. It's not exactly third party. So therefore, you have a company that has a written practice, and that company would designate an outside level 3 to be your examiner. That outside level 3 will create a general exam for you, perhaps 50 questions plus other methods. A specific exam for you, they create this. They will make a checklist to grade your procedure, and also a checklist to grade your practical exam if your job is to inspect product. Now for ASNT, that can be used for NAS 410, but it's certainly used for SNT C1A. So therefore, for NAS 410, if you pass the ASNT basic and the ASNT method, that together, that ASNT cert is a substitute for your general, but that's only one part of it. You still have to take those other exams. For SNTC1A, in the non-aerospace world, they usually pass the basic exam and the method, and that's it. And they're considered a level 3. However, SNTC1A does say you have to demonstrate your ability to pass a specific exam. You have to demonstrate your ability to write a procedure. It doesn't say it has to be graded. You just have to demonstrate that you wrote it. You don't have to take a practical exam. They don't say anything about that. But I'm telling you, it's coming.
Got
and I'm
it.
going to
Okay.
stop the share here.
So a couple questions based on that. So NAS 410, which is the National Aerospace Standard, is you said somebody outside third party level 3 has to certify the individual. Now, what are the qualifications? Where do we find these outside third party people? Are they some other companies NAS 410, or are they independent organizations?
Very good question. Usually it's an outside level 3 because you're not supposed to let a subordinate be your examiner. So if you're the responsible level 3, you shouldn't have another level 3 in the company be your examiner. That's required per NES. So how do you find these folks, and how do you know they're qualified? The first thing you want to do is you contact an outside agency company. Like some of them advertise online, like Hellier NDT, wonderful organization, for example, advertise these services on their website. Others, AINDT and ATS or ATL, Aerospace Testing Labs. Myself, TB3. That's the main thing that I advertise on my website. NAS 410 training. So then you would ask the person, can you provide evidence that you were tested by an outside level 3?
Right.
So I would, there you go.
Because it's like who's tested the first person?
Who's testing the testers, right?
Right.
Oh yeah. So the first thing, some companies don't know they should ask this. Do you know that I've had several customers, even this month, they got caught up in that. They used an SNTC1A level 3, not an NAS. So that SNTC1A level 3 did not have the specific exam, procedure, and practical in their records. So they came to me and said, can you help us? And of course I do. So not only do I show my cert record, my ASNT cert, I provide it to the company. I provide them the report from my examiner, who, by the way, I have to pay. My examiner is in Phoenix, Arizona, Texas, and also Pennsylvania. So I have to travel to get these tests done, and I have to pay them out of my own pocket. Wow. So yeah, I show evidence, and if they want to see the actual exams, I make arrangements for that too.
Got it. Okay, so that's with NAS 410, and then with SNT TC1A. If let's say somebody just passes the exam, they want to take a job as a level 3 at a company. Again, somebody has, when you say they don't have to be graded, but it has to be demonstrated. What is that? Who keeps a record of that demonstration? Does it have to be an outside agency level 3, or can it just be the employer saying, yeah, I saw he wrote some reports and he's demonstrated his ability?
I'm glad you asked that question. So the quality manager is a very important role in NDT. The quality manager is normally designated to be the certification authority, but in writing by the company president, and also co-signed by the company level 3. So the company level 3 is tested by ASNT, and in the written practice, it has to say and signed by the responsible 3 and the quality manager. ASNT is an outside agency that qualifies. That's one part of the qualification process by ASNT basic and method exam. So that's one part. But in addition to that, as far as the specific exam goes, ASNT publishes a document that's called their interpretations and their intent. There's a couple of documents. I'd be happy to tell anyone in this audience. I'll send the link. ASNT's perspective is an outside level 3, like myself or someone else, is hired, vetted, and they become the examiner for the specific exam. So you write the specific and you write a report that this person has passed the specific. And for the procedure, they should use a checklist. The problem is SNTC 1A doesn't tell you the procedure should be graded to a checklist. However, CP 189, which is another document from ASNT, they do specifically say the examiner shall use a checklist to grade the procedure. So SNTC 1A folks kind of borrow from CP 189. It'd be great if they put it in the SNTC 1A document to give some guidance to the examiners. So therefore, the quality manager would look at the examination report. Yes, I see that the examiner vetted the ASNT cert is valid and current. That this was the passing score for the specific, minimum 70. Passing score for the procedure exam, minimum 70. So that's a report from the outside agency. And the quality manager would say, okay, now we're going to put this on a cert document. So the outside agency qualifies the individual, and the company says, I accept that report. I have the evidence and the exams here. Let's put these results, really it's the scores, on a cert record. And the quality manager and the responsible level 3 sign it. Even if the responsible level 3 is the person that was tested. I know that sounds kind of weird.
Yeah.
But as long as the quality manager was co-signing, it's all good.
Okay, got it. So if it's a non-aerospace company, let's just say it's a non-aerospace company, I got to hire an outside agency like TB3, and TB3 will design the test questions for specific and the checklist that ASNT recommends, and then the quality manager within this company will accept those results and make a record of that, saying, okay, I accept these. He has ASNT qualifications and TB3 certified him on specific and the procedure writing. Let's just accept him as a responsible level 3. And then I sign on that as well, basically.
And you would too. If you were the responsible level 3, you would also sign. You would co-sign because you are the responsible level 3. And by the way, this is true whether your SNTC 1A, CP 189, or NAS 410. And SNTC 1A has a form at the back of SNTC 1A 2016. The form in the back is exactly how the cert record should be. And it shows everything I just said. Oh, excuse me. One other exam is the vision exam. The vision exam is part of this too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, it's amazing. It's funny that really the SNTC 1A is written similarly to NAS 410, except certain areas they allow more leniency. They say, well, you are allowed to modify this in certain areas. But there's 8 areas of SNTC 1A that are shalls, and that's the part that a lot of people miss. Shalls.
So shall is you have to follow it. Shoulds is you can modify, you can choose.
There you go.
Got it.
There you go.
Let's say a level 3 quits a company and a new person is joining as a level 3. Now, is that procedure similar to what you just described? Do we still have to hire an outside agency to test this new person? And then what happens already in place? Do they have to be modified for this new level 3? They have to be reviewed, or they can just continue using the older procedures and written practice?
Well, yeah, the new level 3 could continue using the procedures as long as they meet the current code, the current aerospace spec or ASTM, ASME code, as long as they're current. So if I was a new level 3 taking over from another level 3, the first thing I would do is audit. I would audit the procedures to make sure, and I would pull the current spec that I have to meet and make sure that everything's in there, it's supposed to be in there. Because guess what? That other person's signature may still be on that document, but now you just accepted all of the responsibility.
Right, exactly.
And then, and even if someone else wrote it, the moment you say, yes, I will be, and the company writes a letter designating you as the new level 3, responsible 3, now, one thing that folks don't realize is now you own all that. So you can never say, I didn't know. The best thing to do is to audit everything. Okay. And if there's any changes that need to be made, you make those changes. And you only need to put your name on the procedure when you do a new revision.
Got it. Okay. So every procedure has to be audited, and then you need to like, you said you have to mention the revision number if even if you didn't make any changes, you just
Oh,
have to put your name on it.
oh yes. Well, if you're the new level 3 and you're taking over, that now it's still going to have the prior level three's name and revision. When you audit it, if it's current, leave it alone. Leave it as is, even though it has his name on it. But you're
Okay.
still responsible for it. If you get audited, whatever is in it, even if your signature's not on it. However, if you revise it, yes, you will now put a new revision number, and also you would end up being the one to sign it, you and the quality manager.
Makes sense.
And that's right. Now, some companies are small, and some companies don't realize that they should have a quality manager. Well, they really have to have a quality manager, and that is in accordance with ASTME 543. And that's true for all industry. But, if a company can't afford a quality manager on staff, they could just hire an outside consultant and put him on retainer. That means he's a quality manager when you need him to be, him or
Got it.
her. That's
Just
right.
like a level three doesn't have to be a full-time, could be a part-time consultant level three for a company, and the company doesn't need to have a full-time level three, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
That's correct.
makes sense. Okay, final question. What is your advice to a female who might be watching this and asking the question, is this industry female friendly? When you started, what did you see in this industry that made you choose this as a career? And do you ever face challenges as a female? If so, how do you overcome them?
Okay, ooh, that's a loaded question. Okay, I'm going to make sure I hit all the points. So, advice for a woman, I have 5 things just in bullets. Join ASNT and make connections. Go to asnt.org, become a member, join your local section, and you may make connections with other women. Get a mentor who's in your industry, whatever your industry is. Find another woman, and the best way to do that is through ASNT because it's international. Get solid credentials. So therefore, if you're certified in liquid penetrant, see if you can add on magnetic particle. Even sometimes you have to invest in yourself, even if you have to pay for your own classroom training. And that doesn't mean the company is going to certify you, but maybe you may find a company who will later. Get your credentials and your certs up. Never turn down an opportunity, within reason. And learn about quality assurance. Learn about quality because that's another area. 2 more things. Earn the respect of your coworkers. And some people may say they should respect me regardless. We as people have to earn our respect. How do you do that? By being hardworking, a team member, a team player. And lastly, for a woman, have a positive spirit no matter what happens to you, good, bad, or ugly. Just keep a positive spirit because that might not be the only place. So then you asked me, why did I join this industry? Well, it's because I'm an Air Force veteran, and the United States Air Force was ahead of the game. They were recruiting women in the 90s, the late 80s and 90s. So they recruited me. Rather, I joined the Air Force and they recruited me when I was in basic training to go into NDT. So they were already ahead of the curve for equality and encouraging women. So why am I in this career field and why do I remain in it? Well, it's a solid career field that pays well and is in high demand. So that's the way I felt when I got out of the military. But now as a level 3, I've been in this business over 28 years, maybe longer. I stopped counting. I don't want to tell my age because I came in when I was 18 years old, do the math.
Wow.
But as a level 3, I'm in this business because I want to do a job that has an impact on aviation safety, which is my industry primarily, infrastructure, buildings and bridges, and our resources, oil and gas. That's the general reason. I'm trying to bridge the gap between the former generation and the generation that's coming because of my age there. And the question about challenges there, oh yeah, I've had some challenges. I have faced, well, to be frank, different forms of discrimination. Discrimination as a woman, discrimination because I'm African American. I've been treated unfairly because I was a young person. But I find that if you work hard alongside of your coworkers, they give you respect. My certifications brought respect. Learning management skills and human resources skills help me to understand how to respond when those things happen. Number one thing I always say to people whenever there's discrimination, I say, you know what, you're really missing out on all the cultures and the experiences that you can gain by having an open heart to all people. And you're missing out there. You got to put your personal beliefs to the side. And when you come to work, you're one team. That's how you're going to make it. If there's division amongst the team, you're not going to make it. So here's my bottom line. You can always show people better than you can ever tell them. And if you show people who you are, then pretty much that you're a good person, you earn their respect. And guess what? You can make a difference.
Wonderful. That's awesome. Toni, we're right around the 31 minute mark. Thank you so much. This is perfect. This was really helpful, valuable. A lot of questions have been answered. I hope this is valuable for a few people who are confused out there as level threes, and even for females who are trying to get into this industry. Thank you very much, Toni. I will keep in touch with you, and maybe we'll have another talk in future.
You got it, Pratik. Thanks for having me.